So Tesla is going to increase vehicle sales by a huge amount this year. I'm going to see if Nicholas Gibbs will agree with me or disagree with me or add his own reasons. Then the business climate right now in the United States is absolutely unprecedented. I don't even know what to say, so we'll talk about that. And then we're just 2 weeks from earnings, and I'm going to find out whether Nicholas Gibbs has any questions he'd like to ask the boss. Hey, Nick, how
Hey,
you doing?
Randy. I'm doing good.
I
I
want to
just
talk
got
about.
back from massage, so I'm doing real good.
Okay, there you go. All right. So I want to start with the Tesla stock situation. We've talked
Okay.
about it over the last couple of weeks. I've said you didn't disagree that kind of right now people are waiting for the catalyst, the big one, taking the drivers out of the riders out of the seats and letting and starting to build up, the territory. And so what I'm thinking right now is I can't remember the last time we've been this range bound in a little narrow area. So I'm thinking that nobody's getting out right now, but nobody's increasing either. So what do you think?
Well, I am attempting to figure out what I think. Let me see.
Okay.
Yep, just as expected, we're going up. Stock's going up.
With
I'm
it,
looking at all indications point to Tesla's going up.
I see. Even without the robotaxi expansion, you're just talking technicals purely.
Well, technicals, I don't know. I
Okay, okay, you know what I
don't
mean.
label it anything. I'm just telling you what I see. And
Uh-huh.
what I see is that it looks like we're going up. Um, you said even um without unsupervised, right? That's what you
No,
said.
no, without robotaxi expansion, without.
Okay. I don't know because if it happens, how could I tell you if it was going to happen regardless or not? So I can just tell you where the buying pressure is right now, and the buying pressure is up. It looks like it's gonna be pretty strong up here in the next over the next few days. So I anticipate the stock to keep going up. Um, all things being equal, said a different way at this point in time with what's going on. Um, you don't know what you don't know, right? If we attack Iran tonight,
Yes.
that could change things for one way or the other. I don't know which
Yeah,
way either.
yeah,
And anyone
right,
who says they do, I would tell you you're wrong.
right.
Um, you know, recent activity has actually given a good example for what I always say. Like, even if you knew like what CPI was going to be, even if you knew what the jobs numbers be, you wouldn't actually know how to place any trades based off that information. People think they would, but they don't. Perfect example that happened recently. We went in there, took Maduro out of Venezuela. If you knew that was going to happen prior, you would have guessed oil prices are going up, stock market's going to go down. The exact opposite happened. So that's like a great example of you may think you know, but you really don't know. And so, with that said, based on what I can see right now, which way momentum's pushing, it's pushing up on Tesla. It's very clear. It's not even like a slight, it's like strongly pushing up right now. So,
Now, if
if
we're
the
running,
robotaxi announcement happens, if unsupervised happens, that could obviously be the catalyst for everything. But regardless of that, right now, everything's structurally set up to go higher.
okay, I'm always looking to try to get into the head of Mr. Investor out there, especially the retail investors. So it did occur to me the other day that there could be a slow FOMO. In other words, kind of like when you're trading options and every day it loses value, this would be the opposite. This would be like every day we have to be closer to the day when it's going to happen. So every day it's like, well, it's going to happen in a week or it's going to happen in 3 days. So that maybe there's some like a slow, I don't want to call it a drip, drip, drip. It's like the opposite of a drip, 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 but a slowly lifting rocket, if you will.
Yeah, I don't disagree that that's kind of what's happening, but it's hard to know if it's just retail or if it's Wall Street or funds or if it's just in general the S&P 500. The different um, ETFs that mimic the S&P 500 having to stay balanced. It's hard to know. What is easier to see and understand is just watching the flow and where the volume's going, and just directionally, you can just see what's happening. So, but you're not wrong. We have been, even with the recent kind of low that we had, which was like 390, and the recent high or all-time high we had 498. Besides that, like we have been kind of right back to chopping around the same area of, just call it roughly between 470 and 430. We just been chopping between there for, I mean, since, what is this? This is since September.
Yeah,
Since
wow.
September, we've been in that range.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, with the exception of recently we had 390 and recently we had 498, right? But it has regressed back to that choppy zone between 430 and 470. So we talked about this last week actually, where I told you, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I told you that this is where the base would be. You
Mm,
remember that? I
mhm.
think you had mentioned like 460 or something like that. I was like, well, actually, like if you, I mean, again,
Yeah,
look,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
call it technical analysis. I'm just looking at it just looks so obvious to me. Like you just look at it, like that's clearly where the base is. So it's good that's holding right now. That's really good. So, and like I said, momentum looks like it's pushing higher. So any catalyst that sends us up is going to be good. We do have some risks, not to continue my monologue here, but we do have some risks that people should be aware of. We got potential government shutdown. We tomorrow, the Supreme Court will release some of their decisions. One of them may be the tariffs. Um, Iran, obviously, if China does anything, if Russia does anything. So there's lots of volatility out there.
Mhm,
It's not
mhm.
like it's just a sanguine market, but it's I don't know. I think I'm optimistic, Randy.
Okay. Well, I am too, of course, I'm gonna beg to differ with you. I feel like we do have a sanguine equities market, meaning not much volatility actually in the equities. Over the last week, over the beginning of the year here, even though we've had pretty much, we'll talk about it in a minute, but I mean, like lots and lots of good news, and the market is all-time highs. But my thought earlier today was, can the market push higher given until they hear the earnings? In other words, is it so high that like it's bouncing up against kind of a roof, a ceiling that it's going to really have a hard time getting through, even with all this good news? You said it a little while ago. We got the CPI print this morning. It was a solid beat. And that's without the fact that you and I both know that housing prices and rents are down, and it's still showing 0.4% up on housing. So this is a really a Goldilocks situation, but it seems like the market is like stretched, given historic numbers.
Yeah, I hear you. I think there's a lot of reasons why it's not stretched. Earnings are going to be and have been really good. We see that credit card spending is at an all-time high, which is great. That means that money's still circulating. What Trump's talking about doing with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac to buy 200, I think, million or billion,
Billion, 200 billion.
billion in mortgage-backed loans. I mean, this is all really, really good. I mean, like these are clever moves
Yeah.
that they're doing. Um, and again, like at the end of the day, Trump has to make the decision, but I want to give credit to whoever actually came up with these ideas. Credit to those people. Obviously, at the end of the day, Trump has to say, "Yeah, I want that from the menu." So, there could be
Yeah.
lots of great things on the menu, but one person has to actually make the decision. But these are great moves that they're doing. Honestly, this is gonna sound crazy, but I even think the indictment on Jerome Powell was a good move. I thought it was a really good move.
Especially again, when you look at it, the market didn't move. It moved a
Yeah.
minute. It moved a minute, and then it recovered. I mean, it hardly
Well,
moved
because
at all.
it's just an investigation. But
Yeah,
again, it's just
yeah,
it's putting pressure on again, and it's allowing them to see what the market thinks, how the market moves. It puts more pressure on the Fed, and if for no other reason, like I think it's just sending a very clear message to whoever the next Fed leader is going to be.
yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
I think, and if anything happens, it kind of gives them a little cover, saying like we've been telling them to cut, we've been telling them to cut. I mean, right now, if you look at Trueflation, I think we're at like 1.8%.
Yeah.
So, and
In fact,
it's
I think this morning it was 1.74.
okay, 1.74. So yeah, so it's like, I'm not saying Trueflation's 100% correct. I don't think what we have CPI is 100% correct, but obviously the truth is somewhere in between.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think we're pretty restrictive. I do think we could come down. I do think that we can continue to stimulate more growth. And Trump actually said today in his speech during the whatever the session or event was called.
That's right. Yes, he went to that. Is he in Davos now? Or is that
No, this was in
oh,
Michigan.
Michigan? Okay.
But he had said something that I feel like you and I have like just like banged our fist on the table over and over. It's like we've got in this perverse world where whether you turn on Bloomberg or CNBC or you just hear any talking head on YouTube or any talking head on X, it's like everyone equates, okay, if the economy is doing good, that means that we're going to have inflation. And so we can't cut rates. And it's like, no, just because the economy is doing good, that doesn't mean you can't can't cut rates. Like this does not make sense. Just because we use rate increases to slow the market down doesn't mean you can't cut rates while the market's going up. And Trump is literally talking about that. He's like, we live in like this backwards world. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, we've talked about it so many times. It's like people have just seen like what the only medicine that we have, which is chemotherapy for the market, and
Right.
they think that that means, hey, if you're getting healthy, like cancer is going to come back. It's like, no, that's not what that means. Not at all.
We have the 1990s as proof. Low interest rates and almost 5% growth.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about a little bit more about Tesla, and then we'll get to the rest of the economic news. So, what do you think about? We're 2 weeks away from the earnings call. If Elon came in right now, he said all of a sudden it said admit right here at the top of my YouTube thing, and it's Elon, So and I said, okay, you're first. What do you want to know from me? What would you love to hear right now? Not necessarily the direction, but do you have questions about that you'd like to get answers to?
In the last earnings call, you made some very confident and specific, detailed outlines of what would happen by the end of the year. That was 3 months before the end of the year. What happened? What were the delays? And should we be concerned moving forward? And if not, when will those events that you timed out for the end of the year actually occur?
Yeah, I figured that's gonna if there's not cars on the road, I mean, in other words, 50, 100, 200, whatever, without riders, I've been saying for several days now, that will be the first question. I mean, that will be the thing everybody wants to know. What happened and when is when is it really gonna happen?
Yeah, and honestly, the reason that would be the main question is because I'm not scared of asking that question. I'm not scared of the answer.
Yeah,
I actually think whatever the answer is probably gonna be a good answer.
yeah,
It might be like, hey, we just want to be overly cautious, and we know that we're gonna have this other build coming out. We just figure we might as well wait for that build before, and we might as well do a little more validating. Or Cybercab is about to come out. We just want to get more testing done with that before we put all of our attention to like managing all these, these cities and everything. Like we need to focus on this before we go to that. And just the timelines kind of got, you know, away from us or I don't know. Like I just feel like there is a good answer. I don't think it's like, hey, they just missed it. I mean, he made those predictions 3 months before they were supposed to happen. 3 months.
hmm
Actually less
hmm
because the earnings call
Right,
was in
right.
October. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
2 months.
yeah.
right? So it's like, what happened
Right.
that you were so confident now we're too like I don't think it's the technology. I don't think that's it. So I think whatever it is would be it'd be like just a good sign to know what's going on and now understand like, okay, well then when can we expect those now?
So I had an idea earlier today on that. Let me share it with you and see what you think.
Okay.
I've probably released a couple of hundred, maybe more new products in my life, 15 books for sure. So when you've got a new product release or a book release or even an event release, whatever, you only get one shot at the release. Okay, sure, you can try to make up for it if it doesn't go well, but you've really got one shot at the actual date that you tell the customers that you're doing it. In fact, on book releases, there's a whole process, a huge specific process. You saw me go through it when we did the AI Rising, and if you don't do those things before the release, your book is dead, just dead. It's not going to happen, and you'll never recover. So that was my thought was maybe he's going, you know what? If we do these things, it's just going to make the release that much better. Or this hasn't happened, and I'm a little nervous that's going to potentially hurt the release. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think that's fair. But even if that's the case, all right, well then
Tell us about it. Yeah.
when? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
All right.
clearly they're inching closer and closer. I mean, it sounds like I mean, we see all the cybercabs out there, and clearly we know that they're doing testing without people in the vehicles right now. I think there's more testing spotted recently. Um,
Yeah.
so they're moving in the right direction, but it would be good to see or hear. And you know what the worst part is? I almost wish, I mean, I've said this so many times. I kind of wish Elon just wouldn't tell us anything unless it was like you're actually confident about it.
Right.
Because otherwise, it always creates like this whole anxiety and it gives fodder for the mainstream media to just,
Yeah.
have attack vectors towards Elon. So I wish he would just like I understand he wants to like push his team and
Mhm.
be,
Mhm.
you know, push the ball forward and be more aggressive timelines, but it it would almost be nice if like at this point he would kind of relax a little bit with that and he would just push towards more I know or at least tell us
Mhm.
in public, hey, these are the ones I know are going to happen and
Mhm.
actually let them
Mhm.
happen.
Mhm.
Because otherwise, this is where all this frenzy comes in. Like, oh, they're late. Oh, something's going on. Oh, Tesla can't do. Oh, they say this, he's wrong. They say this, he's wrong over and over. It's like, I don't know. It's got to be annoying hearing all this crap.
Yeah, no
But
kidding. Well, there is that optimism in him. He talks about it. And so he may have really truly believed it. He may have thought it was like 99.9% certain. And
yeah,
then again, something popped up and it's like, that could hurt the release. I've I don't know how many, maybe I've told the story too often, but I had a flat proof tire, a plastic tire that we were absolutely certain was going to, we would be retired in Hawaii because this plastic bicycle tire was going to change the world. So we had this thing where we always got them tested in Phoenix because back, 30 years ago, Phoenix was an isolated community of 1 million people. So you could test something in Phoenix, and if something went wrong, then you didn't. The rest of the territory, the rest of the United States didn't know that you had this flop. So anyway, we sent it over to Phoenix. We had a 115-degree day over there in Phoenix, and the plastic,
melted.
it's not melted, but it got nasty. Anyway,
The plastic has some plasticity to it.
it's, yes. So that's the kind of thing, you can be going along and you think you're done, you think you're ready to go, and all of a sudden this little thing. Anyway, all right. So I made a claim earlier, just a few minutes ago, and I've made the claim about a week ago also on this show, that I think that we're going to have some big gains in vehicle sales in quarter 1 and quarter 2, even without the big catalyst of unsupervised, which again I've repeated over and over again is and Elon says will be the biggest catalyst of this year. Um, so number one, let me go through the list. It'll be easy to beat last year because we closed three factories during quarter one and we barely getting back up in quarter two. So it's an easy number to beat in the first two quarters.
Was that a question?
Do you agree with the idea? Do you agree that that makes sense?
So you're saying year over year?
Year over year. Yeah.
Um, what was the number again? I don't remember what it was.
Oh, last year for the first and second quarter? I don't know. It was really low.
It was pretty low, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, probably.
Okay. All right.
Honestly, I would be. I think maybe like 400,000 would be good. Would be good.
Okay. So like a 20% drop from what the fourth quarter probably should have been without the nonsense, without the on again the third quarter pull forward and the fourth quarter drop probably would have been a 500,000 quarter if it was the normal setup.
Yeah, like I think it'd be. I think it'd be very good if we could have like Q1 low 400s, Q2 mid 450 to 460, Q3 maybe very high 400 slash break 500, a very high 400 slash break 500, and then Q4
The normal big
we're
number.
in the 500s. That I think that'd be a great year.
Okay. Well,
It'd show growth again.
it'll be way better than that. So let's talk about number two. It is reported that there are some people coming into showrooms now specifically to get FSD. So you and I think again talked about this, that the FSD, the level of the FSD now, the quality of what FSD does now is causing people to go back out and show their friends again. And their friends are just, being blown away. So that there's I believe that this will increase sales of both the vehicles and of FSD already in the first and second quarters.
Where were those reports coming from?
That was Sawyer Merritt this morning was reporting it.
Okay, so like I wonder if it's like just one person
It might have been one. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If
I don't
it's
know. I think all that stuff with a grain of salt. I mean, I know I say this every time. To me, none of this matters at this point. The only thing that matters is the progress of the robotaxi. So
okay, but I'm still want to do my thing here with car sales. So let's become
yeah,
we're becoming the marketing department here. Are these things are these things valid? Assuming that maybe robotaxis are put off to the third quarter. All right. Number three, we got the Model YL in China, and that will be rolling out more and more, maybe into other regions as well.
I think we get Model YL in the States by the end of the year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do-
Brian White is the first person I heard say that, and I agree with him.
Okay. So the seven-seater that we're getting right now, which is just the modified Model Y, that'll be the game for a while, but then the YL will come out.
I think so.
Okay. All right. But do you think the Model YL in China will be something that increases sales in the first quarter as maybe it rolls out to other regions?
Mm, sure, why not?
Okay. All right. What we just mentioned, the seven-seater in the United States, that should help some Model Y sales in the US, right?
I don't know. I don't know how many people want that.
If you've got three big boys like Brian White does, then yeah.
Yeah, but will they fit in the back? And then you lose all your trunk space. Like,
I don't know. Last time I think it sold okay. I don't know. I don't know how many they sold. The standard model. What do you think the standard model is going to do for the line? Do you think that'll help? A lot of good reviews on the standard model, by the way.
yeah. Again, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I wouldn't buy it personally, so it's hard for me to be optimistic about it if it's not something I would buy.
Okay. All right. The solid economy, which we'll talk about in a minute, with lower interest rates, both of those things should influence car sales in general, and Tesla should be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw, but towards the end of the day, the 10-year took a little dip. That was nice to see.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see not the front run the next conversation, but I think you're going to start to see rates come down meaningfully,
Mhm.
and I think that could help. But again, keep in mind Tesla in general. I don't know what they have going on right now, but for a long time they've been buying down rates, so
Sure.
it's not like the rates have really been the issue for Tesla.
Yeah, but I think there's a perception in the public. So the public isn't going, oh, let me check to see what the public is going, oh, what I'm being told by the headline is that when Fed rates go down, the car interest rates go down, and so therefore I'm going to go shop. So
I,
that's what I'm looking at.
I don't think that's how the public works.
You don't think that's how the public works? Is
I
that just
don't think
me?
the
Is
publics
that
are
just
look. I don't think most people know what's happening with the yields or the bonds. Or
okay?
I think we're a little bit in our own echo chamber when it comes to that.
I see. All
I
right.
don't think most of the people in the Tesla community know what's happening with the bonds.
So solid economy should help.
Yes, always does.
All right. Reduced impact from Elon's politics. He hasn't been doing nearly as much in the political front. So the first and second quarter, at least, you think we'll get a potentially, again, I always think about the marginal buyer. So, there's somebody who's on the fence who's been like, oh, Elon. But then they're like, no, but this car is great.
Um, I hear you on that. I guess, compared to this time last year, he's been less political, but that's he was very political this time
Political
last
this
year.
time last year.
So, I, honestly, I would anticipate him ramping up the rhetoric.
Oh, later, I agree. I think by May, he may be back in full swing.
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
not necessarily with Nazi salutes or anything, but
Well, especially if he gets his 90,000, 95,000 um, regulation changed for billing out cybercabs.
oh yeah. One way or the other, I think he gets that.
I
Um,
don't think one way or another. I think there's a quid pro quo.
oh, okay. But you got Congress that's taking the bull by the horns right now. They may pass
Why do you think
legislation.
that?
I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm just saying when I say there's two different ways, one would be Congress, the other would be the existing Department of Transportation using their capabilities which is what we thought originally would happen.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, I think it's quid pro quo because of that. I think the only reason Congress is even taking this up now is because Elon had dinner with Trump, and I think they came to an understanding. And next, thing you know, hey, guess what? We got this hearing coming up. I mean, for all I mean, who knows? Maybe this has been scheduled a long time ago. I don't know, but seems a little peculiar in Nick's book.
Yeah, okay. All right. And then we've got opening new territories. So we've got India that's barely been open a little while. We've been opening, like Turkey was a big one last year, but some of the Indonesian countries are being opened up this year. So we should be able to get a little bit, again, maybe it's only another 20,000 cars in the first quarter, 10,000, I don't know, but all of these things add up.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Every little bit counts.
Then of course that's when I throw my unsupervised on top of all that. And if we get unsupervised, then I think we never have to worry about selling a car again. And then people are forgetting semi sales. So those will start rolling out sometime, probably in the first quarter. And then second quarter will be meaningful, even if it's only 5,000 vehicles in the second quarter. That's still, a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't think we see semis until at earliest second quarter, personally.
Second quarter, that's what I said. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm saying like any until then.
Any, not even 12. Okay.
Yeah, not even 12, not even one.
Okay. All right, that'll be interesting to follow. I'm bookmarking that.
Oh,
Um,
oh.
all right,
I
and
feel like you know something I don't know.
and then here's the icing on the cake. Here's the one that I have been asking this question. This is a question I would want to ask Elon at the call. He may not answer it. Maybe cybercabs will be sold to private parties, fleets, etc., even in the second quarter when they first come out.
Well, I think he has said that they'll sell them. He's talked about that, but the second quarter would be a good question. But I doubt it. I think the first. I think they're going to keep as many as they can at first. I think they'll maintain maybe like the first 100,000,
Hmm.
or who knows? I mean, maybe they've completely pivoted and said, you know, we're going to keep all of these. We're just going to keep it all in house.
Could happen, could happen. My guess is that I'll predict right now that there are most favored uh, clients out there, individuals or companies that have been talking to Elon for a long time about wanting to do the fleet thing when it happens. Not like Uber, but smaller organizations, smaller people that are, and he's like, this would be a great test. This would be a great test. This would be a great test. That's just my thinking.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right.
Okay.
Um, they're going to want to do that. They're not going to want to, and they have to do it because if they're going to allow us to put our vehicles into the fleet,
Right.
then that just shows that their operating model will allow others to participate and it won't just be a closed ecosystem.
Right.
So, I mean, it'll still be a closed ecosystem, meaning it's got to be a Tesla, it's got to have FSD, right? It's got to have our logo, all that stuff. But the fact that they would let us put our vehicles in there shows that they'll allow other people to benefit from it. It's not just going to be a monopoly,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
even though it'll be a monopoly.
So did I leave anything out? Is there anything else that you can think of that should impact sales in the first two quarters?
Um, I think there's a chance they do a Super Bowl commercial
Oh wow.
that would impact sales.
Oh,
Um,
that
I
would.
think I think there's I think there's a chance that nah, I'm gonna hold that one back. I'll
Oh,
leave it there.
okay. A tease.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to the economic news. We talked about it a little bit. The news overwhelmingly, amazingly huge. The CPI print was better than expected by anybody, except Trueflation, who actually predicted they thought that uh, the headline number would also be down to 2.6, but they got the core right. So what I'm looking at now is this, to me, in my lifetime, and that's a very long time, goes back to only a few years after FDR. Think about that. I don't remember a setup like this in the economy, even close. I
Well,
mean, we're
let's hear it.
talking.
What's the setup?
Okay, all right. So
What's
let's
the setup?
we'll start with 4% GDP growth in the third quarter. 5.1 is what GDP now is estimating that the fourth quarter will turn out to be. And that's before all the stimulus and stuff is coming in the first and second quarter.
Plus added 1.5%
Add in 1.5%. Right.
to
Right.
the 5.1.
Yeah, which is the stimulus.
No.
Oh,
The 1.5 is what is estimated we lost during the government
oh
shutdown.
yes. Right. Yes.
So
Yes.
really, it's estimated we're running at about a 6% GDP.
Right. Or some people actually are taking that the other way. I don't know why, and saying that it's running at 5.1, but then the impact won't show up until later of the government shutdown. But I don't know. I it makes no sense to me. I'm just reporting it. All right. So we're sitting there with that kind of a setup as we go into this year that everybody's talking about being a crazy year. Then you've got not only the stimulus from the big, beautiful bill, and we've talked about that until we're blue in the face, but I mean, it's massive. Some people say it's 1% just for the consumer side of it, not even for the business side of it. But the consumer side of it could add 1% to the GDP just from the change in the tax rules. That's pretty massive. And you've got the AI impact. Of course, we talked about that forever. And you've got there's something else. Oh, all the infrastructure money. We know some of it's coming in. Lutnick talked about it the other day. He knows of 40 buildings right now that are being built from the infrastructure thing. So, and we could go on. There's more things. Regulations are being reduced. Inflation is coming down. Housing is probably going to do better after what Trump just did. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. If we get housing going again, if these people start building houses again, that's the part of the market that's been the most under pressure. That'll also help durables. So it seems like the craziest setup again ever in my life. Can't remember anything like this ever.
Well, and I would say you left out the two most important
Okay.
parts. One is that we are, and this is something I just keep hearing from like every person out there who's trying to find a reason to be bearish or are trying to put out their bearish case, and like why this is '08 again or why this is the same thing as 2022 or '01. The thing that they all keep leaving out is that those were rate hiking cycles. We're
Right.
in a rate cutting cycle right now. So even though some things may look similar, right? I saw someone talking about how um, the 6 months after we see a decline in truck sale, like semi truck
Yeah.
sales,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
normally see a crash in S&P 500. It's like, okay, like causation, correlation, like again, and
Right.
all those examples they had, those were into rate hiking cycles or in a rate cutting cycle.
Right.
So that was the one thing that you didn't mention. The other one, so I don't know if you saw it today, but year over year, for the start of the year, we have a deficit 50%, 15% lower than it was this time last year.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm only
it's
gonna
progress.
I'm only gonna argue over with you over 1%. And I went back and forth with Grok on this, and there was some numbers that got turned around and whatnot. So it's actually 16, just for fun. Well, no, there were some payments that were made in 2025 that would have normally been made in 2026, big ones,
Mm,
like veterans benefits and stuff. So anyway, so it's really 16, just for fun. I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, 16% for the
yeah.
first 3 months of the new budget.
And we
That's
still have a deficit,
We still have
like
a
to be
deficit, right? But it's
but
16%
it's
lower.
less than last year. So
Right,
that's good.
right, right. Yeah, I think that's
Right
very,
direction.
is what?
It's in the right direction.
It's in the right direction. I think it's a great stimulus. All right. So, um,
And just to be clear, and
right,
that's when you saw the 10-year take a dip today.
a
So
little bit.
that's the 10-year went from I think it was 4.2 down to like 4.16.
Right. Yes, yes. Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a minute. We'll see where it is in the pre-market. We've got unemployment at 4.4. The NFIB this morning, optimistic, more optimistic, up 5 points. Real wages are up, and mortgages, as we pointed out a minute ago, at 6%. And that's because of exactly 100%, just because of what Trump did in terms of having Freddie and Fannie. By the way, the guy who runs Freddie and Fannie, he said today previous presidents wouldn't have had any clue to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I talked about it in I think I told you I started a new podcast with my best friend Greg. It's called
Yeah,
Behind the Trade. But we
yeah.
were talking about that, about how smart of a move it is. It's literally a way to cut interest rates, but directly myopically focus on the housing market without having to use the Fed. I mean, it was such a great move. I mean, whoever came up with that idea, I mean, kudos to them.
Well, you think about, Trump is a real estate guy. That's what somebody was pointing out this morning. He knows real estate really, really well. That's how he spent his entire career.
I'll give Trump a lot of credit for stuff, but I don't think this was his idea.
Okay, well, we'll have to ask when I do his bio. I'll ask him whether. So so anyway, what does this? We've just gone through the litany, and it's pretty funny because the mainstream media isn't really getting it. CNBC is not getting it. But here we are, two little peon YouTubers And I've gone through the list, and I did it with Grok too. And Grok goes, "Yeah, this is crazy."
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah.
It
And
it really is.
so the 6% GDP increase that people are talking about in the books, do you think it'll be higher?
I mean, it really depends, right? It depends on how things unfold. Can things continue to go well? Can we not fight about every little thing as a country? Can we just like for once just rally behind an idea? I mean, honestly, that's kind of what's maybe exciting about the whole Iran thing. It kind of seems like everyone's on board with it. The whole capping credit card interest rates for 1 year, it seems like everyone's on board with that. I think
It's the
Elizabeth
banks.
Warren met with Trump to talk about it. So, and that's if you look at credit card companies like Visa, MasterCard, they've been down pretty big.
Right, right.
Um, so, like if there could be some semblance of bipartisanship somewhere, like I think that would be, I think that would ensure that we continue to have a great year. Obviously, things are probably going to get ugly come around midterms. That's just the nature of politics. But
Yeah.
I can agree with you more. We're set up to continue the Roaring Twenties, which is what they have been.
Maybe the 1880s and 90s. We have when I was young. Um, so so we have on this 10% thing, just for fun. Have you seen anything? Do you have any guess as to how he's going to do this? Is he just going to jawbone it like he did the pharmaceutical companies? I mean, he
You'd
doesn't
have
have
to
the
go through
authority.
Congress.
Yeah, but is Congress going to pass a 1 year deal?
How do you not going into midterms?
Yeah, right.
How do you not? Who dare
Who
who
dare
would
not?
dare to vote against that? You know, I mean, I was actually thinking about it today when I was, believe it or not, when I was getting a massage. I don't know
Right.
why this it came up in my head, but the only the only leg I think you could push back on it is saying, yeah, we want to do this, but we don't want to do it for just 1 year. We want to have this permanent. So we're not going to say yes to something. This is our opportunity to do it permanent. Come on, Trump. Why won't you do it permanent? Forever kind of thing. And like that would be the friction. And it's like, can we just do it at least for 1 year?
So
And I'm not saying I think it's a good idea personally, but
yeah, yeah. So I hate, when the government gets involved in something like this, but there's something really wrong. Okay, in my lifetime, there is no chance at all. So a credit card started in my in my lifetime. Okay, so it was a completely new thing. I forget exactly when, probably the 50s. I got my first credit card when I was 17 years old to buy a typewriter from Sears. So that was my first credit card. There was no way in the world you would have had a credit card over 12%. That was it. Max, max, max. Then for the greater point of my adult life, the greater part of my middle years, it was 18 was max. That was it. Nothing over 18. How do we go from that to a max of 29%, which is usury? So maybe Trump's idea is to unwind this, to unwind it, get it back to something more normal using a year as a test. Let the banks figure out how they do that, what they do in order to make that profitable. And then maybe you put a cap on it of 15 or something.
yeah, I mean, all right, first of all, you have to have credit. We can't not have credit.
Right.
Without credit, our economy doesn't grow. Without credit, the only way we grow is based on individual productivity,
Right.
which we would the whole world would not grow as fast. So credit allows us to borrow from the future
Mhm.
to be able to do things today.
Right.
So you have to have credit. So there's no way around that. But the higher you have these rates, the thing is it unlocks the ability to give credit to people who are more risky. It allows you to give credit to people who otherwise wouldn't have credit. And I know that sounds bad, and I can understand the lens where this is like extortion. However, it also gives them opportunity. It also gives them a hey, I just had this bad thing happen. I need a quick out. Thank God can qualify for a credit card that I otherwise wouldn't have. And it gives them a chance to be able to hopefully pay it off before they get any interest tacked onto it.
Right.
Now, I know, I get it. That's not like those situations exist, but they're not the vast majority of people who have these credit cards at high rates. I get that. I get that. But banks also have to account for the risk,
Yeah.
right? You're not going to get money with you're not going to get cheap money when you are a risky borrower. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
And it makes sense. Like you wouldn't lend money to someone who
It's the risk.
was
Yes. Yes.
a risk, right? And if you were, you'd be like, well, there's going to be upside to me because I have to plan, like I have to anticipate I'm going to lose this money.
Right.
So
So I have a solution. I have a solution.
go ahead.
And I talked about this with Grok, and Grok said, yeah, it's probably a good solution because I do everything with Grok now. Grok 27 times a day. I'm talking to Grok. Anyway,
Randy starts his prompts off with a Grok. Hey, before we start, just make sure you say, yeah, great idea after everything I say.
right. So, but he gave details. Anyway, when I was in college, I got a Jewish free loan for $300. I know it sounds counter.
Sounds awful.
Well, it turns out that there's a national organization, huge national organization.
Are we
Uh,
about to get canceled? What are we saying here? All right.
the Jewish free loan people today will do loans up to $15,000. And there's other organizations like that. It's not just them, but there's other organizations out there that do these loans for people that are not credit worthy, or they've had a reason why they can't get credit right now. But it comes along with, in some cases, it comes along with some counseling. So I think the president should go on. By the way, President, all the people that are watching this show right now that have the president's ear, you can tell them it was my idea, is that the president should go around and call his billion-dollar buddies, get them back in the White House again, and when they announce the 10% thing, say, we've got all these people are pledging $17 billion or whatever to set up this free loan charity, not a government agency, not a government program, but a charity, in order to help people that are having a temporary problem.
Hmm. The problem is then government's still involved.
No government. He's just setting it up. He's just bringing his buddies in and making the pledges. There's all the rest of them are charities now. So
Yeah.
it could just be to expand some of the better charities with with those billions of dollars. But these guys are sitting around with all this money. They don't know what to do with it. There's no hungry people anymore. There's no homeless people anymore. So it's like you sit there and you're like, what do you do with all this money?
I don't know how much of that was sarcasm or not.
Well, you know what I mean. It's
You,
not
you know what?
you don't
You know what?
you don't see one commercial anymore with a little child with flies in their eyes. Okay. That's gone.
I actually saw one the other day, believe it
Did
or
you
not.
really?
Yeah, my wife and I were like, "What are we watching? This is like so sad." And it's like it's like you can see the acting, almost not acting, but you can see where like, all right, you purposely are playing sad music. You took this kid. How many times did it take you to do this shot? And you told him over and over to do this, and you told them to look sad. Like,
And then you CG in the flies.
yeah. It's funny you say something about those low loans or cheap loans. I don't know if you know this. So I graduated from a military academy,
Right.
and for people who attend service academies, right? There's 5 service academies. When you graduate, either through USAA or Navy Federal, you pick your poison. Graduates, midshipmen, or whatever you're given academy. You are eligible to take out at least when I was there, it was $30,000 loan at a 0.05% rate.
Wow.
Now, obviously, that's because they know we're good for it. Like
Yeah,
we all have jobs coming out, but that type of loan like really gives you a good leg to start off.
Sure.
It's cheap, free money essentially that you're borrowing from the future. Again, That's why credit's
Yeah,
important. But
100%. 100%. Nice. All
I
right.
forgot about that until you
So,
mentioned it.
so we'll get to the numbers in a second, and the numbers are, I think, going to be interesting. But go ahead and let us know. I understand you've got one more chance in January for
Oh,
people to attend your meetings.
yeah. So just be quick. So our options crash course we're holding January 31st. We're cutting off the time to sign up. If you're going to sign up, has to be done by Wednesday, January 21st. Again, the course will be on the 31st, but the cutoff's on the 21st. Uh, to be frank, we only have a couple spots left. So if you want, sign up. If you can't make it, we're going to do one more February because we already have a wait list for people in February who can't make it on the 31st. But we're cutting it off. So just if you guys are interested in options, want to learn, it's not a 2-minute thing. It's not a get rich quick thing. It takes about 6 to 8 hours for us to go through everything. Go on to my X page. You can find the link there to sign up. If you have any questions, just DM me. I'll answer your questions. And again, we're teaching you how to fish. Hopefully, you don't have to come back to us, and you go and you know how to fish after this. So
There you go.
that's it.
All right. Okay. Well, with those of us who are fishing in the Tesla pond, we're at 446.95 in the after hours now. And that's again right in that range. So I don't know if you have anything more to say about that.
No, I'm trying to look right now to see if I'm seeing the same thing as you. What'd you say you see?
446.95, I think I said.
Yeah, I got 447.
Okay.
Oh, now I got 440. What'd you do? You broke it. Now it's 446. All right. Yeah. All right. We're good.
Okay. All right. And you've got, let's see here. We've got the bonds have popped up a little bit in the after or the pre-market. We're back to 4.179 according to what I'm seeing.
I think uh, tonight's gonna be a Tibbin night.
Okay. How soon do we get a three handle? I haven't made my prediction yet.
Oh man. Maybe in the second quarter.
Second quarter. Okay. Second.
Maybe.
All right. Okay.
You know when we get a three handle? I think when we get a new Fed chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think when we get a new Fed chair, we're gonna see what 100 basis point cut, 75 basis point cut. We're gonna see a huge cut right out the gate.
Okay. I also did a very long back and forth with Grok on this. And Grok, the only thing that we could really agree on is there's just so much product available, so much, there's a lot of bonds to be bought. And that this could be keeping the bonds at higher rates.
Well, there's a 30-year auction today. I don't know if you saw that.
There's an
It went
auction.
really good.
It went well. Okay.
Yeah, very well.
All
A
right.
lot of foreign buyers coming in to buy the 30 years.
Well, that's what we need. We need those foreign buyers to come back. Oil down a nickel in the pre-market. We're at 61.10. So your buddies, your old friends in the oil business are happy today that it's back over 60.
Well,
They're
so I mean, the equation's changed now. With China not being able to get oil from Venezuela, with Russia not going to be able to kind of whitewash what they're doing out of Venezuela, with Iran, I mean, not being able to do a lot of stuff there either. And now the US doesn't necessarily need to rely strictly on the fracking and what they have going on there because, again, our refineries are set up for heavy fuel or sour oil for refining. We could see oil go below 50.
really
Well, because we don't have to worry now based on our limitations for
the
drilling.
rich, the expensive oil. We don't have to go for the expensive oil.
Yeah, I mean, well, and in general, Venezuela is more cost-effective labor,
Right.
right? So, like, even if you're paying the Venezuelans a
Right.
great wage,
Right.
it's still more cost-effective than paying a great wage here in the States.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's easier to get to. Our refineries are set up for it. We don't have to ship it to
Right.
get refined. I mean, it's possible. Like, it's conceivable that we go into the 50s now.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. I've seen at least one speculator say that we could be at 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And also, I've seen some people on go on CNBC or whatever, and they're talking about like, oh, it'll take years to get the infrastructure and all that set up. And it's like, I'm telling you right now, that's not right. Like, first of all, they were already drilling and pumping out oil, so they can already do it. And second, you can bring in equipment, lots of equipment. So right next to, not to get too into this world with you guys, but right next to Venezuela, you have a country called Guyana, right? And believe it or not, it's actually a lot of people from India who settled there, and there's a huge, like pretty much everyone there is like Indian, but they are off their shores one of the biggest areas where there's been disputes between Venezuela and Guyana whose oil it is. But all that is drill ships out there, and those ships, like I said before, 3 to 4 months to 3 to 4 months to drill, test, uh, backfill, plug, and then you can come in and you can exercise well and start setting up to pump out. I mean, it could be done fast, and we're already doing it in Guyana, so
All right. Well, that'll be
I
cool.
think it could be fast.
We've got natural gas uh coming down, coming down, coming down like every day. We're now down to 338. I think we've been down as low as about three and a quarter, 320. But that's going to help with the next CPI because we've come down, from what, $5 all the way back down to three and change. Gold. So Larry and I are predicting that there is going to be a comeuppance. There's going to be a really bad day or week or month for gold and silver. We're up another $14.80 to $4,614, and on silver we're now at $88.
Uh, I don't know. I think gold is going to hold tight. Oh my goodness! And I didn't even see Bitcoin. I know. Sorry, not to fast
Yeah,
forward, but
Bitcoin had a very good day.
yeah, I didn't even see that. See, that goes right back to what I'm telling you. Tesla set up to go higher.
Yeah, Bitcoin up almost 4,000 at 95,378, and Ethereum up 7% to 3326.
Yep.
They are
I
they're on the move.
I think there's a chance this market's about to rip.
Interesting. I know you believe in the Bitcoin precursor theory, right?
Uh, I mean, it's hard to ignore,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Okay.
you know. But even like if you look at the S&P 500, even the S&P 500 looks like it wants to pop.
All right. Well, we'll see how prescient you are. For the equities markets, you've got the Dow down a little bit, 0.09. You've got the S&P down even a littler bit at 0.01, and the Nasdaq up 0.05. So we got no direction for tomorrow. We get the PPI tomorrow. We get housing, existing
Start?
housing sales. I
I don't
think
know.
something like that. Anyway, oh, maybe it's no, I shouldn't say. Anyway, so we got another bunch of reports tomorrow. We'll see if that impacts the markets more.
Yeah, I think right now the markets are gonna just be impacted by whatever happens with Iran.
Okay.
Um, and honestly, if anything happens, I think it's gonna be this weekend.
Okay.
So Trump likes to avoid markets.
Okay. So
I don't know
after
if you've noticed
after
that.
the Friday close, huh?
Yeah.
And it's a
He,
3-day weekend.
oh, it is?
Yeah, Martin Luther.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's great. uh, but yeah, Trump likes to avoid doing anything when the market's open. And he likes to give it like a day or two for the markets to digest.
I see. Interesting.
So,
All right. Anything else? That's all I got, Mr. Gibbs. If you got anything else you want to share as we sign off on a Tuesday night?
um, just like I said, I started a new podcast with my best friend. It's called Behind the Trade Podcast. go check it out. We talk a lot about markets. We talk about how they impact the trades we're doing. We discuss the trades that we've made. We talk about our winners, our losers, our P&Ls, and the whole idea is that the podcast is kind of a way for the people who take our courses and kind of creates a community and where we can all kind of talk and share like what we're going through, what mistakes we made, and what winners and what we're thinking about moving forward. So, yeah, like I was just recently talking about how I'm getting structurally bullish on Tesla. I'm not putting any cover calls on, right? We talk about a lot of these type of topics. So
Got it.
check it out. Behind Trade Podcast. Good fun.
Okay. All right. Okay, Nick, as always, it has phenomenal to have you on. And to all of you out there, it's even as phenomenal, maybe even slightly more phenomenal, just to have this daily conversation with you 3 times a day. It's been great talking to you.
Cheers.